Welcome to part 2 of Lekki Big Girls. 3 glamorous friends chasing fame and fortune in Lekki are bound by secrets, envy and betrayal. But when hidden pain resurfaces, their glittering facade shatters, leading to a tragic confrontation that changes everything. How far can fake lives go before reality strikes? Watch in this part 2 interesting story of Lekki Big Girls. After the reconciliation, Amaka, Tola and Ifeoma seemed to be on the path to rebuilding their lives. However, beneath the surface, old wounds were simmering, especially for Tola. It was difficult to forget how much she had once sacrificed for Ifeoma, how she had helped her climb the social ladder in Lekki, only to feel as though Ifeoma has forgotten her contributions. Years ago, when Ifeoma was struggling to make a name for herself in Lekki's elite circle, Tola had introduced her to a man called Roma. Roma was a well-connected businessman and politician. Tola got to know Roma through one of her clients, Nelly, her favorite customer, who later traveled to the US. Roma was the elder brother of Nelly. In one of Roma's trips from Abuja to Lagos, he decided to visit his younger sister, who was then in Tola's studio making up. Unfortunately, Ifeoma was there. Though he never said a word to Ifeoma, Nelly, Tola's customer, had been talking to Tola about his brother's interest in Ifeoma. The excited Tola finally made an arrangement for them to meet. And this was the Roma who had been instrumental in helping Ifeoma secure sponsorships, landing her a high-end wardrobe, and even gaining access to Lekki's most exclusive events. Tola had jokingly mentioned to Ifeoma on several occasions, "Don't forget who helped you to get here," but Ifeoma had never once acknowledged her role in the success. Tola's heart ached with resentment. She had done it out of friendship, sure, but also with the unspoken hope that Ifeoma would show some gratitude. Yet, as Ifeoma's life blossomed, Tola was pushed aside, forgotten in the shadows of the glitz and glamour. Now in Ibadan, things were far more perfect for Tola. The lifestyle she had once boasted of in Lekki had crumbled. She had sold her car to settle debts, and her business wasn't doing as well as she'd hoped. Tola had always prided herself on her independence, but now she was struggling to make ends meet. The luxury that had once seemed so attainable now felt like a distant memory. Thank you for watching to this point. If this is the first time of coming across us, or you are yet to subscribe, please hit on the notification button right away so that you don't miss any of our stories. Also, turn on your notification bell so that you're the first person to watch our new stories that drops. Share, like, and drop your thoughts in the comment section. Thank you. But the anger still simmered inside her. She felt as though Ifeoma, now thriving in her new career as a personal shopper, had moved on without so much as a backward glance. To her, Ifeoma was only embarrassed by one of her sponsors who embezzled money, but she still had other sponsors, including Roma, who she still fell back to. So she felt Ifeoma was still lucky and had the opportunity of helping her. But no, she only thought of reconciliation, not even asking how she was faring in Ibadan. Ifeoma, as always, seemed to have it all, while Tola was left to pick up the pieces of a life that hadn't turned out as planned. The thought of it angered her daily. One afternoon, while scrolling through her Instagram, Tola saw Ifeoma's latest post, a picture of her smiling in front of an expensive villa, captioned, "Dreams do come true when you work hard enough." Tola's hands trembled as she read the words. "Hard work?" she muttered bitterly. "What about Roma? What about me?" That was the moment Tola decided. She would make Ifeoma see her. She would make her pay for forgetting the person who had helped her rise. It wasn't about the money anymore. It was about recognition, about getting the acknowledgement she so desperately craved. Tola had a plan. She would confront Ifeoma publicly, expose the truth of how she had climbed the ranks. She knew about Roma's influence and how Ifeoma owed much of her success to him. But what Tola didn't realize was how dangerous her plan was. In the weeks that followed, Tola traveled back to Lekki under the guise of visiting old friends. But deep down, she was determined to put her plan into motion. She found out that Ifeoma was hosting an exclusive event at one of Lekki's most prestigious venues, a gathering of the wealthy and influential women she now called a circle. Tola arrived at the event dressed in a stunning borrowed dress, one of the few things she had left from her days in Lekki's high society. Her heart raced as she entered the venue, scanning the room for Ifeoma. It was time. But as Tola approached Ifeoma, she felt a surge of rage. Rage at the years she had spent in the background, unnoticed. Ifeoma, standing tall with her designer bags and the perfect smile, had become everything Tola had once dreamed of being. It wasn't fair. "Ifeoma," Tola said, her voice trembling but firm. "You've forgotten me, haven't you?" Ifeoma turned, recognizing Tola, but she smiled politely. "Tola, it's been a while. How have you been?" But Tola was no longer interested in small talk. She took a deep breath, her next words cutting through the air like a knife. "You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have attained this level without Roma. Without me, you'd be still chasing a dream. I introduced you to him and I made you." The room grew silent as people turned to listen. Ifeoma's face faltered for a moment, but she quickly regained her composure. "Tola, I appreciate your help back then, but I have worked hard to get to where I am today." Tola could hear the dismissive tone in Ifeoma's voice, and that was the breaking point. The floodgates of her anger opened. "Hard work? Really? After everything I did for you, and this is how you repay me?" Amaka, who had been standing near the door, entered the scene just in time to see the confrontation unfold. She immediately rushed towards the two, sensing the tension in the air. "Tola, stop this," Amaka pleaded. "This isn't the way to resolve things." But Tola was beyond reasoning. In her mind, this was a moment to expose Ifeoma for who she really was. A woman who owed her success to others and then discarded them when they were no longer useful. The confrontation escalated quickly. In the heat of the moment, Tola made a reckless move. She pushed Ifeoma hard, causing her to stumble backwards. The room watched in horror as Ifeoma lost her balance and crashed into a table. The table flipped, sending glasses and plates flying. Before anyone could react, Ifeoma's head struck the edge of the table, and one of the broken wine bottles got stuck into her skull. The room fell silent, deathly silent. As she lay still, unconscious and bleeding, Amaka screamed for help, rushing to Ifeoma's side. The panic was overwhelming as Tola froze in place, realizing too late that she had done the worst. It wasn't supposed to go this far. The authorities were called, but it was too late. Ifeoma was pronounced dead shortly after the incident. Tola's world shattered in an instant. She had never intended to hurt Ifeoma, only to expose her. But now, she was responsible for her death. Tola was arrested, and the media quickly caught wind of the tragedy. The once glamorous lives of these women were reduced to headlines of betrayal, revenge, and sorrow. Meanwhile, Tola in prison has been said to be having sleepless nights, murmuring, screaming, and shouting. And during the day, she will be saying senseless words people couldn't understand. The inmates rumored that Ifeoma's spirit was after her, making her behave like a mad woman. Amaka, on the other hand, is yet to accept the reality of the terrible incident that happened to her two close friends. Every evening, she will sit in her room staring at the pictures of her friends, remembering the good old days with mixed feelings of their unhealthy competition, their success, their wins, their losses, classy outing, fake lifestyle, and how things had eventually turned out to be this bad. Few months later, Amaka was able to put herself together and return to her vlogging, using it as an opportunity to talk to young ladies to avoid fake life, bitterness, and unhealthy competition. Amaka had learned a great lesson. Revenge may feel like the only way to seek justice, but it often leads to irreversible consequences. Betrayal and bitterness only build walls between us and our peace. Forgiveness and understanding are the true paths to healing.